thump in the night, and you're suddenly struck with a nightmarish case of fright. There's only one team to call that's willing to fight.
What does this do?
Hello, and it's Lisa here to do a review for you today for Geek Legion of Doom. I've got my son Isaac with me. For reference, he's 8 years old, so we're obviously going to be talking about a kids or family movie. And today it's a movie obviously very much aimed at children, but in my opinion suitable for the whole family. It's called Monsters at Large. So first off, the director. This one's directed by a gentleman called Jason Murphy. I looked at his past work to see if I recognised the name. He has done a movie called Robo-Dog, which some people that are in this movie actually worked on that with him also, but the surprise about this guy is he's actually responsible for working on the movie Last Shift, which is a horror movie, one which I really enjoyed, was very popular in the horror community. So he's moved across to like completely the opposite, a kids like family type, really innocent movie. Let's give you some of the stars of the movie before I give you a basic synopsis. Mischa Barton's actually in this, playing the main character's mother. We have Austin St. John, who plays the father, and we have Stephen Topolowski, who's probably the biggest name there, that plays the science teacher, Mr. Phillips. So they are the three sort of top billed performers within the movie, but the main movie centres around a group of children, so I'll give you those names to start off with before we get into a synopsis. So first off, we have Matthew Costo, who plays the central character Alex, Trevor Dolden, who plays his little brother Gavin, Augie Pulliam, who plays his best friend Dylan, Alicia C. Delaguila, who plays one of the Monster Busters, Phoenix, and Alex's crush, a girl called Ashley. The actress there is called Tara McDonald. Right, so on to a basic premise for you. This movie is called Monsters at Large, but the group within the movie that is set up are called the Monster Busters. So that should sort of give you a tie to another movie with a similar name. Quite similar premise we have going on here, obviously, to the very famous Ghostbusters movie. Alex's little brother Gavin is having issues with something that a lot of kids go through, the whole monster in the closet. He thinks there's a monster. And Alex is going into school, falling asleep, he's getting into trouble with his teacher, he's embarrassing himself in front of the girl that he really likes that sits beside him. So he decides that they need to do something to put an end to this so he can get a night's sleep, if nothing else. So he gets together with his best friend Dylan, and they meet a little girl in detention. He's in detention for having fallen asleep. Little girl's name is Phoenix, and she is your typical brainiac nerd. They get together and they create the Monster Busters, which is a team of kids that go out to houses of much younger children that are having issues with monsters.
Like toddlers.
Yeah, like toddlers and young primary school children. And they're going out having the kids believe that they believe in the monsters and they're there to get rid of the monsters for them, when in actual fact they're just there with some effects like some strobe lights, and they've got some audio recording equipment there they can make suitable noises.
Then they just scream the head off.
And they go in and do a bit of play acting, and the kid thinks that the monster's being caught, problem solved. But in the course of the monster busting, the group find out that perhaps all is not as it seems, and perhaps monsters are not completely fictional. So that is a very, very basic premise for you. I don't want to go into any more about the storyline or the synopsis. I will just talk about what we thought about the movie. Yeah. So what about you, Isaac? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I very enjoyed it.
You very much enjoyed it?
Yeah.
So what did you like about it?
First of all, I liked it when they were busting monsters, and the comedy was really well placed in them places.
That's very posh for Isaac. The comedy was very well placed. So you thought it was funny?
Yes.
There is.
Very well placed.
I will interject here and say this is a PG. I think one of the few reasons that this has got a PG is there is use of very, very mild words. I'm going to give you examples. If you're watching this with extremely young children and...
Like
fart. Turd. Example. But you're not going to get... There's no real swearing in this. There's just a couple of very, very mild, rude words. And some of those are put across in a way that's actually very, very funny. And young children, sort of around Isaac's age and even younger, will find it extremely funny. I find myself chuckling and giggle at a couple of bits myself. So Isaac thought the humour was really well placed. He liked the bits where the kids were busting the monsters. I think what he means by that is when they were pretending to bust the monsters for the little kids. So what did I think? I thought the story was really engaging. I thought the actors, the kids were fantastic. Especially the little boy that plays Gavin, the younger brother. He's tiny. He can't be any more than 5 years old. I actually read up on him. He started learning the acting profession at the age of 3, and he now lives in LA to sort of give himself the best chance to sort of like blossom as an actor. That little lad's going places. He's just fantastic. In saying that, the other actors, the other child actors, are all excellent. Now, it's watching movies, child actors can be a bit frustrating, a bit irritating, they can overact things. The actors in this were all really good, they were all really believable. I mean, think movies like The Goonies, think movies like E.T. The level of child acting that you've got in those movies, you've got going on here. These kids are all exceptionally good. It wasn't a weak link here. There wasn't a kid where I thought, oh, well, it's a shame that kid's in it because they're all good in their own way. I also like the fact that they're very positive role models. There's a very positive message to be got from this, from young kids. Would you say you learned anything watching it at the end?
Yes.
Right, what did you learn?
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly. So there's different things in this. We deal with bullies. Alex deals with school bullies. That's dealt with quite seriously, but also very amusingly. I also like the fact that of the group of the Monster Busters, the little girl, Phoenix, she's very nerdy, glasses, pigtails, but she is the brains that creates all the gadgets, all the scientific equipment. I love that because that usually doesn't happen with girls. Girls usually have background roles, or they're the crush that the boy's trying to impress. And we do have that role here of the pretty girl that he wants to be his girlfriend. We're Isaac's sniggering because he's 8. These kids we're talking are probably around 13, 14 possibly. They're quite young. And the little brother is really little, much younger than Isaac. So we've got that sort of thing going on where girls and boys are just sort of starting to get interested in each other. And he wants Ashley to be his girlfriend. But Phoenix is just a complete, she's gutsy, she's funny, she's smart, she's creative, and she has actually invented all these gadgets that the Monster Busters used. And for me, as a mum, if I had a daughter, it's a very positive sort of role model that they're putting forward as a young girl.
I know my favourite gadget.
What was your favourite? Oh, I know your favourite gadget. Was it yeah, you're not going to say what it's called. The thing with a glove on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be spoiling something. If you do watch it, there's something with a punch with like a boxing glove on the end. I'm sure you can work out yourself what happens, but I think Isaac liked what it was called more than anything else, which was a little bit rude, shall we say. But when I say a little bit rude, I mean very, very, very mild, guys. Nothing serious. So yeah, really enjoyable, really engaging story. The actors were all fantastic. There wasn't a weak link there. A really positive message, positive role models from the kids. It's not giving anything away to say the title of this is Monsters at Large. So we do have a monster in this, which I loved. I was fully expecting to see this monster and think, oh god, this is awful, this has just spoiled it. There is use of CGI in this, which I am not usually a fan of, but I felt worked well. There was nothing that I looked at and thought, oh, that was dodgy, that was terrible. The monster is not going to frighten children.
It looks weird.
The monster is funny. The monster looks amusing. When I saw it, I actually felt myself warm to this character that had been created. For anyone with much younger children, the monster isn't in the slightest bit frightening or intimidating or scary. It's very clearly made to not frighten young children. I mean, you didn't find it at all frightening. You probably found it quite funny.
It looks weird.
The monster is is not scary. It's actually quite endearing, to be fair, if anything. And I felt that the actual CGI that was used and the monster itself worked really well in this movie. So I would highly recommend this for a family sitting down on a Saturday afternoon wanting something to watch. It did have a real feel to me of movies like The Goonies, of E.T., of
Freddy.
Of a younger sort of version of Ghostbusters, that sort of thing. Obviously it's a much lower budget than any of those movies, but I felt with the budget involved they did an incredible job. And for me, as with any movie, the two most important things to me will always be the acting performances and the storyline. And I found the storyline really engaging. It felt it flowed well, and I found the performances exceptional in this movie. So I personally would rate this one an 8 out of 10, which I think is a good solid score. I would recommend it to you. What about you? Would you score it?
8.5 out of 10.
An 8.5 out of 10. So we're both coming in round about the same. Is there anything else you would like to say before we sign off for today?
I'll say it again. Don't judge a book by its cover.
There we go. There we have it. So have you seen it? Let us know below in the comments what you think. We always like to get a little discussion going on. And I look forward to speaking to you next time.